Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I have a really interesting topic. We're going to be showcasing a 92 million base power player who has done very well in Supreme League. In fact, he was with me in the previous round of Supreme League. He ended up in the top 8 position, and right now he was in the group stages and got 14 wins in the group stages and only ended up losing to the actual rank 1 player of the group A, and it was a 2-3 loss as well. And that is going to be this player right here, 92 million power, but doing very well, making good use of the heroes he has. It is a PvP focused player account. Like, he has Paragon for Athalia, but he doesn't have much more other than that. He doesn't have Sylphira, he doesn't have, all the meta Saida and things like that. So his teams are really interesting, and I want to give a bit of feedback on them and also showcase them just to give you guys some other ideas of teams you can consider, for your Supreme League. Okay guys, so here's a team preview for this player. We'll just briefly break it down and then go into more detail. So his initial team, his first team is actually going to be a Frieren Alna team combo. Now, he also is running Contess and Talion in here. I'm going to talk about my thoughts, opinions on this team a little bit later, but really the core of this is Alna and Frieren with a Vanguard spell. His team 2 is a really solid damage over time team, which basically a lot of players can actually run this using Igor, not using Zoria, and so this is a budget-friendly damage over time team, which is very decent. I have reviewed the history, and I've seen other players also be running this. Just having 3 forms of damage over time, and then Igor to stall. And with the Wingard spell, there's enough actual damage reduction that Igor is gonna live for quite some time, and you will be able to watch the enemies fall. Now, Team 3 is the gold standard Zoria Athalia team, which is one of the top tier meta PvP teams. Now, of course, obviously, there are players now who do not have Athalia, right? And you would not be able to run this team. But for longer term PvP players who are focused on Athalia, because she was for a long time, for over a year, almost a year, she was considered the top meta PvP hero. So a lot of people did end up Paragon upgrading her if they were PvP focused. And this is the best way to use her. You should only be using Athalia with Zoria. Any other team is not going to be doing her justice. This is just going to delay the fight long enough to allow Athalia to be nuking everyone. And Pandora Nero combo as well. We'll talk more about that when we showcase the teams. Here we have this Gwyneth team. Now, this Gwyneth team is very, very precarious Gwyneth team, honestly, because it's lacking protection. I'll talk more about that later, but basically it's Lightbearer Gwyneth, Hugin, Siren, Gwyneth. That is a core that basically a lot of people should try to run. The other 2 heroes are more flex. And then finally, it is Perseus Zandrock, which we knew that this was good. He's running it with the frontline spell, which totally makes sense. It's a great artifact for the team, because actually Lily May, when she interrupts an enemy, and I believe even when she goes into Rainstorm Ballet, it does count and proc this frontline spell. And you just need 3 heroes on your team to proc it. And so you're hoping Perseus and Zandrock will be the other 2. If we take a look at his history, it is all wins other than the rank 1 player, the 119 million player. They lost to, and he only lost to it 2-3. So that's not even that bad. If it had some refinements, some improvements on some of the other teams, or potentially, some higher upgrades, then he would actually be able to even beat who was the top of the group. And that is no joke. Top of the group is not easy to beat. So I bet you were not expecting this, having Frieren actually as a frontmost to benefit from the Vanguard spell and without protection of Alna. Now, this can definitely work when you have Alna protecting Frieren. It's basically she's not gonna die for at least 20 to 25 seconds of the match, and she'll have multiple chances to get off her ultimate and nuke the enemy team and get you the win. Now, I find it, honestly, to give my honest opinion, Contess works well only if you can protect her. This is the thing about Contess. Running Contess unprotected, which is essentially what is happening here, is not going to be the best option, because against a lot of enemies, they're going to have AoE damage, or they're going to have backline targeting damage with an Alicet. Your Contess is not going to live long enough to actually get off her value. Contess needs to be in a comp protecting her so that the fight lasts, 20, 30 seconds. She's able to expel all enemies, and then you have a massive advantage. You're probably going to win from that point. But this team lacks that. And Talion is just probably because he has Celestial Hypogean, he has a Talion Paragon too. That's probably why he's running. Power of Renewal is fine, I guess, on free run. It's not contributing the most. So really the core of this column I consider all in the free run, and basically you can flex in whatever else you want and it will do well because just all in the free run is so strong. And with the Vanguard spell. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the team 2. Very solid team 2, like I said, and a really good budget option. A lot of people do have Damon, Bonnie, Citrana, even Igor, Paragon upgraded if they've been Paragon PvP focused for a while. And you're running the Wingard spell for that additional protection, which I think is really needed for a comp like this, because the only way you lose in a team like this is if your Igor dies too quickly. If your Igor is able to survive and all your other heroes are able to plant their debuffs, you're probably going to win. Igor is just going to outstall them. And so this is a solid team and definitely making use of options you have left over. And Shadewing is a great hero to add in here with the damage over time. You don't need to have Shadewing. However, it's just more damage coming in. And that's why this is the maximum amount of damage you can get. And that's why I like it. I think it's really good. And Shadewing does contribute a lot of damage, by the way. Okay, Team 3 is a standard Zoria Athalia. I think that this is really good. You have Callan protecting Pandora. That's going to guarantee that basically Zoria is going to survive. The Pandora is going to live long enough for Zoria to complete her box duration. That's going to convert Zoria into 100% bonus attack when she actually does enter the fight, because she cannot actually gain energy, right? And that's a mechanic of Zoria. And also it causes her to enter the fight 4 seconds delayed. Now he has Niru to give another life to Zoria, which is interesting, and I did think this was good. I did think this was a good option for quite some time. However, upon more testing, I feel like, well, Shadewing is already being used in Team 2. But I personally feel like having a Shadewing in here, having more damage over time, basically proccing, ticking, whether it be a Citrana, whether it be a Bonnie, obviously they're already used up. But having that with this, it does give this team more power, more actual kill threat, because otherwise you're just purely depending on Athalia and some finishing of Zoria, and then your artifact. That you can't knock the artifact. The artifact has a lot of damage output, and that's the whole reason why it's key for this team. But you're really depending on your Athalia to be doing all the job. But she can do it. She can get it done, and she does deal with it's a decent number of top meta teams. Maybe not the absolute top tier 1 teams, but definitely many of the tier 2, tier 3 teams. It can do really well. But you should always obviously run Zoria with Athalia. If you're not running Athalia with Zoria, you're just going to have like a limited length of a fight, and Athalia cannot get enough value off in that time. But yeah, I think this is definitely obviously a good team. You guys know it. The only thing I would consider is, you know, if you had Shadewing available or even Bonnie available for some more damage to help the Athalia finish people off. But here for the leftover options, definitely Nero is the best option. And it does give another life to Zoria, so Zoria has a bit of extra stalling. However, this extra life usually is not going to be super game changing because it's going to be rapidly killed, like, you know, this additional life as soon as it basically procs. But it can be a couple extra seconds, right? Which could make the difference. Okay, moving on to Team 4. Now, the core of the team, which is Hugin, Siren, Grinnet, I'm totally a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the rest of what's going on here, honestly speaking, because you really are not protecting your Grinnet. Grinnet needs to be protected. She's going to carry you, but all she asks of you is please protect me. Like, because if Grinnet dies, your win condition is out of the window. You cannot win the match. Like, realistically speaking, if you're facing any semi-decent team, your Siren and Sleaze are not enough to finish it off. It's all about Grinnet, so you need a protector. Now, you might be saying, well, Siren blocks the artifact, Sleaze heals, isn't that enough protection? It's decent, but you know, without having like an Alicent protecting her, a Gunner protecting her, obviously Gunner is not available in this team, maybe the player doesn't have Gunner, but without something more, or even the Wingard spell, or even a Callan, without any of this stuff, the problem is you're playing a really risky game, because if the opponent has any form of AoE damage, backline targeting damage, your Grin is just going to die way too quickly and not get off her full value. Also, he's gone for the boost of Theodore onto the Lightbearer Phantom. Now, I don't know if this is to try and eat a Lily May interruption of the enemy or what, but this deals some true damage. I never feel like this damage is actually that meaningful. I think really it's more about the haste buff. and 30 haste buff, but I just personally would think either Siren or Celise probably would be better being boosted by Theodore. I know you might be worried about Lily May, but like a lot of teams, only 1 out of 5 teams potentially will even have Lily May on it. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Wingard spell I think could be a really good addition to this team. But then of course your damage over time team also needs it. I think Callan could be a great addition to this team, and then try to make do without Callan on the Zoria team. It's a potential option. Honestly, it is an option. But yeah, I think Callan, you know, and then this core of light bearers would be really good. And then you could even save Theodore for like the final team if you wanted to use him on a different team. Like, just to give you guys an example, it could be this, right? It could be this for a bit of additional protection. I mean, you still do have the issues that, you know, you're not steadfast and things like that, but at least you have at least more damage reduction from the Callan, and then these can still get off for ultimate. So this is just something I would think about. Okay, finally, Team 5 is the standard Perseus Lily May, you know, temporary buffing team. But it is using the frontline spell rather than the breakthrough spell, which also makes sense because Lily May, when she interrupts the enemy or does Rainstorm Ballet, she is going to trigger 1 proc of the frontline spell. So she has synergy here. Then all you need is Xandrock and Perseus to enter into the enemy side of the territory to get the final 2 procs and get the full value of this artifact. Now the problem is if the enemy has any melee heroes who are walking up, you can then get stuck on those heroes and end up not even making it into enemy territory and not proccing your full value from the frontline spell. You're always going to get movement speed and haste and shield from, or you're going to get movement speed and haste at the beginning of battle. That's fine. You're going to get that. However, I do think that, you know, without more melees on the team, it's a bit on the risky side of you running your frontline spell here, because Xandrock and Perseus may not make it into the enemy territory, at least for the initial, where the initial clash happens in the battle, and then you're really leaving a lot on the table. You're not getting your damage reduction and damage boost that you would really like to have. Also, if you were running this team, I would probably recommend move the Ravion. Let the Perseus have a clear line to run down. That's going to increase your chances of making it into the enemy territory and proccing the frontline spell. But yeah, I'm worried. Xandrock has a tough time proccing the spell because he's delayed into the battle. Like he does his rallying roar, does that stuff. He ends up gonna be around here in like 3-4 seconds into the battle, and then at that point, if you've already engaged around here, Xandrock just walks up. He doesn't enter the enemy side of the battlefield. But if your Perseus runs right down and just block, like, you know, so cause everyone to get stuck up on him over here, then potentially Xandrock can actually get into that enemy side. But yeah, I would definitely move Ravion over here. But anyway, guys, overall, definitely these are solid teams. No question about it. I will have a formation ID that you guys can copy down in the comment section, in the description, if you guys want to try it out. And it just is another option, some other things to think about when you're constructing your PvP teams. And that's the whole purpose why I make videos like this, just to give you something else to think about, something else to maybe, you know, and like we said, there's also some team building advice I gave, which was the fact that if you're running Contess, it would have been way better if you had, like, I don't know, people may not have Hepler, but if you had like a Hepler giving an additional life to Contess, ensuring that she lives for longer, or if you, because Aliceth isn't even being used up until now, if you had an Aliceth, although if you have Aliceth, I would have recommended running it with the Gwyneth's team probably, but like, you know, if you ran a team like this, right, you have your Celestial Hypogean Phantomal, you have your more than ample protection onto your Contess, and you still have your Ulnar Fury core. So like if you ran this, your Contess is guaranteed to live 25 to 30 seconds. She's going to silence the enemies, and you're going to have a big win condition from there. And obviously you don't even have to go for Hepler. Like literally, even if you were really desperate, you could even go for a hero like a Paragon 4 Coco, who gives some, you know, she gives this, with her charm bonus, she gives some health. Reduce damage taken and health for the Contess. Basically, just increasing the Contess's survival and then relying on your core of Ulnar Fury. It can definitely work. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully, it's helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How I hope Supreme League is going well for you, and good luck on the later stages if you're still in it. And as the time goes on, I will also be making more videos like this, showcasing interesting teams that I do find, and just to hopefully help you guys out and give you some more food for thought when constructing your PvP teams. As for my teams personally, they're essentially the same as my initial rundown that I showed you guys for the group stages. I've made some slight changes just for testing purposes, but I'll wait for the Swiss stages to be completed, and then we will maybe do a recap of the top performing teams at that point. So thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video, and a pinned comment. You can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.